Welcome to Cosmic Channels. Please call 1-833-703-0424. This week we're looking more on the supernatural, cryptid, UFO sightings, trying to stay maybe a little away from the dreams. We went dream heavy last couple times, so try and change it up this week.
I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Andrew.
Caught that. I just unmuted your voice exactly when you said that.
Yeah, if you want to call in this week, we're taking all calls. The last couple ones have kind of been dream heavy, and we don't want to be the dream police here. So just we're going to try to limit the dream calls this week. We want to hear about if you've seen strange lights in the skies, theories on conspiracy theories, whatever you got. Call us at 1-833-703-0424. I didn't even read that. I memorized that.
Whoa.
Somebody on the line here?
Oh,
or
shit.
what?
I didn't read that. I memorized it.
Oh, somebody's listening to the stream or what?
Caller, please turn down your radio.
Somebody on the line?
I fucked it up, though. Stay on the line. Stay on the line. If you're there, stay on the line.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, he's in. Okay, sweet. Okay, we got it. All right, welcome to Cosmic Channels.
Hello.
Yo, what's up?
Oh, just chilling in bed. I'm coming off of tibia surgery. I figured what else to do, you know.
Tibia surgery, that sounds brutal. What happened?
I was skiing in Revelstoke and hit a stump going really fast.
Oh,
And was hoping to get a ride in the Mongoose Mobile, but it was someone else for the transfer to Vernon.
Ouch, man.
Local Revy boy. That's a bad
Yeah.
start to the year, man. I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, pretty much just ended it.
Yeah, it sucks, man. You
Yeah.
got a story for us tonight?
Yeah, I've got a cryptid one. It's kind of undiagnosed, but it's just kind of too fishy to let go, you know.
For sure.
So, was part of a group of firefighters from BC deployed to Oregon this past September, October.
Yep.
And my crew was working a line, and we were kind of way out in the sticks, like probably like a 50-mile drive from the nearest like public road. And we had been given this line that was a couple kilometers long, and so they split our squads up. And my squad was going to start at the bottom. The other squad was going to start at the top. And we're going to work towards each other. So I get to my spot with my squad. And looking like our objective just didn't exist. We were supposed to like fix some guards. So I'm like, okay, you guys just hang out. I'll walk up by myself and like see if I can find what we're supposed to do, or at least run into the other guys. So I'll take off. The boys all sit down. And I'm cruising up. And I like kind of hear something, and I've been walking for probably like, I don't know, like 20 minutes at this point. And so what I do when I like hear people and my whole crew knows this is I give out like a long dog whistle, kind of like a sort of thing.
Right.
So I let out one of those. Like a couple seconds later, something like whistles almost the exact same whistle right back at me. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's like, I've got to be getting close to the other group because like it answered me, and we were kind of in like a wooded area, so there's not really any echoes. There wasn't any birds because of the smoke. So I'm like, okay, I'll keep on trucking. So I walk like another 20 minutes, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of suspicious. Get up to the top, and the other guys are just parking their trucks. They hadn't even got there yet.
Oh shit.
So I was like, oh, what the heck? So I talked to him for a couple minutes. I was like, okay, I'm just going to rip back down. It's all downhill. I could probably do it pretty fast. Get back to the bottom, and I'm like talking to my squads, and they're like, I was like, hey guys, you follow me up at all and whistle at me? They're like, no man, we've been here the whole time. And I was like, wait a sec, really? They're like, yeah man, no fooling. I was like, oh geez, boys, I got something to tell you.
Oh.
That's really creepy.
So
Yeah, it was just like an almost like mirrored, but it definitely wasn't my whistle, but it was like close enough. It was just bizarre, man.
Like someone was mimicking you
Yeah.
or something. trying to think of like
Yeah,
what
exactly.
cryptids that we know, like Wendigo.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly, right?
You
Oh,
said this is
thinking-
Oregon, correct?
Oregon? It's
Yeah.
Bigfoot, man.
That's
It was
Bigfoot.
near
That's Bigfoot territory.
like Springfield, Eugene.
But how often do you hear Bigfoot mimicking people, like doing a callback for a whistle?
Not so much a whistle, no.
Right? So that's why I'm leaning to something a little more supernatural, like a Wendigo or something, right? Something that
Well,
might be luring someone.
Yeah, no, it was creepy. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
So when
We had been.
I'm looking for a little clarification on the distance you think. So you whistled, you got a call back with a similar whistle. You thought it was your buddies because you all do that. You would all do that sound to
Yeah.
know where you are in the bush. Did
Yeah.
did it sound like pretty far away or like just over the hill or what?
It sounded within 100 meters.
All right, so close enough that's audible and you can kind of detect which way it's coming from.
Yeah, like I could kind of like pick I knew which direction it came from, and like kind of generally where it felt like it was on the hillside. But yeah,
What so you're in like, is it just thick forest or what type of terrain is it? Is it hilly,
it
mountainous?
was like kind of like it was pretty hilly. Like it was pretty steep. It was took me 40 minutes to go like 4 or 5 kilometers, which I can usually truck. And then yeah, it was like old growth, like big firs with like a pretty decent understory. So like it'd be pretty easy to like lose the trail sort of thing if you went off it.
Right.
But yeah.
Oh man, but no, not just the one callback, one whistle, one callback.
Well, I did it twice. So,
Twice?
Yeah. Because I whistled again and then it like responded again, and I just started trucking after that one.
Now, how secluded is this area? Is there a chance that there is like another person in earshot that could have done this, or is it so far off the grid that the chances of that are getting slim?
So where we were was in all private land owned by Weyerhaeuser, the logging company. So it's got no public access. We had to like get let in through a gate every day, and where they told us where they were logging, and it was on the complete other side of the valley. And we were, as far as we knew, the only ones over there. And like the nearest road would have been the one we parked at. 'Cause then the other group had to drive like an extra, obviously like hour around to get to the top.
Huh. Crazy. So
Yeah, it was something.
You didn't feel watched though as you're walking towards the whistling sound. You didn't like feel creeped out at all. It seemed more or less normal until you found out it wasn't your buddies.
Yeah, I just kind of like assumed that it was the guys at the top there, and then once I got back to the bottom and talked back to my squad, it was just kind of like sent shivers down my spine because it was just like, what the heck?
Yeah, no kidding.
Because like I'm pretty bush savvy. I've been like grew up in the middle of nowhere sort of thing, but I've never had anything like that happen.
Oh, for sure. They don't just hire nobodies to go walk in, fight wildfires deep in the bush. So I'd imagine you're pretty proficient.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool, man. That's a creepy encounter.
Very,
Oh,
very
no worries.
creepy
Well,
encounter in
good
the
talk to
woods.
Yeah, thanks for the story, man. Well, sorry about that leg injury, but I'll shred a little powder for you this year in your honor.
Heal up
Right
quick.
on. Thank much, please.
Thanks, buddy. Bye.
Peace.
Creepy story. Possible
Well, that's a
Bigfoot.
good cryptid one. We haven't had one of those. Listen, I'm not putting it past Bigfoot to be able to do a whistle. I'm just saying that like it's not something we hear about lots.
I know. Dan, you listen to a lot of Sasquatch Chronicles. Anyone ever call in that show with whistling?
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure I've heard about cases of that happening before. Like they can mimic human speech, not exactly imitate it like perfectly, but there's reports of them, accounts of them mimicking that kind of speech. Or there's always the famous Sierra sounds, or whatever they call them, the samurai sounds that they kind of refer to, where it's just like it sounds like just gibberish. It's just like humans talking. Sounds like human speech, but it's not words.
Right.
I wouldn't put it beyond them to be able to whistle or mimic a whistle, but to mimic a whistle though, it's like you would need, and I'm not saying that they don't, because I'm not really sure like what the entire like facial structure of a you know, I'm pretty sure apes can't whistle.
How thick are those
think so.
Bigfoot lips?
Right. So I'm like, I don't know if they could be whistle. Like it could be something like that. So, but I don't think it's beyond, you know, it's not beyond belief that they could do that, something like that. So, I know I've probably heard something of like the mimicking a whistle, but it could be some other cryptid. Could also possibly be a northern mockingbird. I know those are live in that area in Oregon, that northern area, but I don't really hear them. I know I've heard mockingbirds mimic things like car alarms before, but I'm not so sure about whistles.
Apes can whistle.
Apes can
Okay.
whistle.
So then that puts that definitely puts Bigfoot back on the
Yeah.
table.
Back on the list.
You know what he was doing the old.
It's got a thing for Revy boys.
Yeah, he got lucky, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Likes those firefighters.
Oh, that's a cool one though. You
so that's
whistle.
super. Yeah.
You whistle. You get a response. You think it's your buddies. You get to the place they're supposed to be. They're just showing up. They're like, "No, it wasn't us, man." You're like, "Fuck."
But then that asks
away
the
you'd be
question.
like,
You know, that brings up the question: why was it whistling? Was it was it trying to lure him out there? Was it trying to bring him out there closer so he could see him? Was it a warning of some type? Like, was it trying to keep him out of his area or something?
Wasn't he saying like that's how they kind of communicate when they're far apart, by whistling?
Sure, there's whistling, and I know tree knocking seems to be a popular theory of their communication. But yeah, he definitely said whistling. It wasn't a high pitched scream or anything like that. So I would put my money on like the high pitched screams that people hear sometimes is probably when a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch is agitated would probably be the reason for that.
A warning scream.
Right, or like intimidation at some
That's
point.
what I do.
Brain walks out on the porch and just starts at people.
His Bigfoot cat call. He got lucky. He didn't get scooped up. That's what happened there.
Sure. Yeah.
He wasn't. Hey, he didn't listen to. Was it David Paulides?
Ladies.
Paulides. He didn't listen to his motto of
Buddy.
"Don't travel in the woods alone."
Don't go in the woods.
Yeah. Buddy system.
Buddy system all the way.
Check for boulders. Were there large boulders
Bushes.
in the area?
Is there any bushes near creeks?
Berry bushes, bodies of water.
You won't find Andrew there. We got
Not a
another
fucking
caller, though.
chance.
No, we're waiting on the line. So
Got a slow night here.
and a Bigfoot call. We might have stuffed a couple people with the no dream call.
And also listen, if you want to talk about, we want to hear your thoughts on the monoliths. What's your thoughts on the monoliths popping up all around the world right now?
Last week we talked about the one, and I think since then there was the Romanian one, and then another one mimic in California.
That the religious group went.
Well, they liberated it. It got liberated for Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Co-opted.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it? The Romania one doesn't look the same.
Not even close.
No.
And I didn't get a really good shot of the California one. And I know, like, I was reading some people were saying that it's some artist, and now he's selling them for $40,000 a pop.
It's like the Banksy of monoliths, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna bring in another caller here. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, not a lot, man.
This is Chris,
Chris, calling from where?
Indiana.
Indiana. What kind of story you got for us tonight, or theory?
All right. What are your guys' thoughts on the TR3B?
TR3B. What's that?
The
let me Google it a
triangle,
little
the
bit
triangle shape.
That's
You're talking about the
anti-gravity.
Spacecrafts.
Oh, like the delta-shaped UFOs?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good question.
Like there's a theory that it's like United States government or whatever, military,
Oh, so like it
or
might,
it could be
like an ET
go
craft?
ahead.
Like you're saying that these could be the next generation of like a new stealth fighter, like a new craft that's being developed, or ET technology?
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys had looked into it at all or anything like that, but they've been seen a lot, and I saw one.
You
At
saw
least
one?
what I
Did you
think
see
is one. Yeah, I saw the triangle-shaped lights.
All right, let's go through that
Probably about
encounter.
it happened probably 2 years ago, Memorial Day weekend. It flew over like my backyard, and I have like this maple tree. I think it goes up probably about 100 foot tall, and then this thing was probably like an additional 50 feet above that. Made absolutely no sound,
Right.
and like we have like a small airport kind of close to here, but usually when like a little plane flies over, it makes a lot of noise from the propellers and all that.
Yep.
And this thing, like I said, absolutely no noise. It didn't have the center light in the, like, if you look up pictures of people's art drawings of it or whatever, usually there's the three, one at each point of the triangle shape, and then the center one will be like a glowing red. This one didn't have any lights on it in the center. And if in the direction, like from my backyard, if you were to draw a line on the map of where it was going, it was heading straight towards Wright Patterson. That's saying it didn't take a turn left or right or whatever. But yeah, it was heading straight towards that. And I was just kind of wondering if you guys, if that, it's come up in any of your guys' research or anything like that, and what your thoughts were on that.
Well, I don't think they're going to be human crafts. I mean, I say that only because we've been seeing triangle crafts for so long, like for 30 years or something. I feel like people have been reporting these triangle shaped objects that kind of like, don't move in regular patterns, I guess, as aircraft. So to me, it's interesting because they're seen all over the time and all over the place all the time, and it's interesting because I wonder how many can be attributed to like crafts we already have, and then because I have seen footage of some of the triangle shaped ones where they're just flying in a straight line, and when I see those ones, I think in my head, I'm like, well, you know what, if they're not, it's not too unusual to see something in our skies flying in a straight line. It's when they start deviating from that or hovering silently, that's when like you see footage of those triangle lights over, all over the place. So I definitely think they've got to be extraterrestrial, just for, I would say, most of them. If they're doing something where it's very common that you would see that, then I chalk it up to like a human.
Well, like if I've been looking at the pictures here on Google, and they actually they kind of do resemble the stealth bomber.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
And he's saying like it's pretty close to an Air Force base as well.
Oh.
But also, I do need to say, like, we're talking to a celebrity here. This is our famous ATT artist, Chris. This is the guy that's been drawing us all the fucking rad pictures.
Is it Kimberly?
This
is Kimberly.
Wait, hey,
Yeah,
why don't you lead with that?
Yeah, buddy.
Why don't you lead with that next time?
Fuck yeah.
This is our guy.
This guy.
Well, then that'll build it up a little too fast, then I think.
I like
You
that.
guys expect a lot.
No, on the topic though of the triangle craft, say they are, if they're man-made, just like back in before Area 51 was public knowledge, they were like developing the stealth bomber. Like what they do there, they did the stealth bomber, the F-177, the stealth fighter, and those things. If you didn't know what that was and you seen it flying in the sky before you knew there's Area 51 and they're developing these crafts, you'd be like, that's a UFO, that's an alien craft. So maybe the next generation of flight, of like propulsion, is being developed, top secret. It's 20 years before we're really going to find out, and that's what this is. They've developed a way to like fly silently without like exhaust propulsion. So that
you look at the stealth bomber, and it's
hey.
unlike anything else we've created before. And like, if you told me like that was based off of an alien craft that they found, I'd 100% buy that.
Yep.
It looks like a fucking badass spaceship.
It does.
Well, hey, not to take you guys off or anything, but like this thing, when it was flying over, it was probably going like 5 miles an hour. like wafting speed.
And
It made no sound.
yeah, so it's like
See,
that's hovering.
that's
That's what I'm saying.
strange.
Like that's the if that's not alien, that's next level tech that we have no idea exists.
Well,
Because you can't.
I don't know. Whenever you see this type of stuff, you kind of want to go get somebody, right? So I ran inside to, grab my wife and come out and see it. And by the time we got back, it flew over the tree line. And it's kind of irritating when, there's a lot of people that see this stuff and then they can't get a second person out there.
No, yeah, the sightings usually happen so fast, and you're not prepared. Like they catch you off guard. So by the time you do get someone else, is either gone or like no one else is around if you tried. So yeah,
Which always
the triangle crafts.
yeah.
Are,
Usually people are.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say usually when people say, well, why don't you have a picture of it or whatever? It's hard to get the evidence quick enough.
Definitely.
I don't care how good your camera is. If it's not adequate lighting, you're gonna have a shitty photo.
Well, yeah, you have these really great cameras on phones and stuff now, but if it's low light and you have to zoom in at all, it becomes so pixelated. Even with a great one of the newest versions of phones, the cameras are still not pro level. You can't zoom in. As soon as you zoom in, it goes to shit instantly. But no,
Right.
That's a cool one. Hey, thanks, Chris. Thanks. We appreciate all you do for us. We'll never forget.
Not a
Oh,
problem.
we love it. You're a beauty.
Yeah, this guy's
Hey,
beauty.
Chris? Plug your Instagram or something, man. Let people know where they can find your artwork.
Hell of an artist.
You can find my art page, Chris Kimmerly art, or I think my Instagram is Chris_artist_Kimmerly.
Right on,
I
man.
think.
If you're looking for artwork, go check him out. He's a beauty. Thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, you guys tag me all the time on it, so they can find it there.
Sounds good.
Right
All right,
on,
man.
man.
Have a good one. Yeah, the delta shape, the triangle crafts, common sighting, alien craft, or advanced human tech undisclosed to the public. Time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, I would say the only thing I would say is it possibly could be some kind of stealth drone, for the Lockheed Martin RQ-170 Sentinel is one of those, an example. It could be something like that, but because he said it was flying so low, or it looked like it was flying so low, that's something else that would that's an argument against it being some type of drone. Because if you're a military design drone, you'd want to fly at high altitude to prevent it or minimize your risk of getting shot down.
Or it would have to be so small, such a small drone to be able to infiltrate. When those they have those
Right.
prototype dragonfly drones that are the size of a match.
Sure, but he said it was traveling so slow, so that's a thing where it's okay, if it's traveling so slow, why? I mean, that's the kind of thing.
Yeah.
Fucking reconnaissance.
Yeah,
So,
check in.
Man, you guys remember that movie Broken Arrow?
Yes.
So
yeah,
badass.
that was a good movie.
Dude, I remember seeing that's the first time I saw a stealth bomber and being that's the coolest fucking plane I've ever seen in my life.
Isn't Broken Arrow like a command?
Is that a
where
John
they
Woo
just-
movie?
Is what?
I know it's got Travolta.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, and Christian Slater, man.
Oh, that's right.
What the fuck happened to Christian Slater? You do not see that guy anymore.
Did-
Yeah, it
was-
was a John Woo movie. Yeah.
No,
it was
what-
directed by John Woo.
wasn't he in
He's
Mr.
on
Robot?
a TV show.
Mr. Robot.
Yeah, he's on Mr. Robot. He's
Yeah,
on a
but-
couple TV shows.
I mean,
Legend says his hair's still receding.
It
No
never-
way.
It never
No
stops.
dice. He got plugs for sure to keep it that receded look. No way that guy would have hair now. That's like Jude Law. Jude Law's got more hair now than he did fucking 20 years ago. Doesn't make sense.
Natural regrowth.
Teach me how.
Meditation.
Look at that
Yeah.
forehead. I can't
A
teach it.
positive attitude.
I can't teach you how to do it. It just doesn't
I
happen.
can't see you, Zell. You're fucking. I just see ZZ Top. See double Z's here.
Oh, you don't. What?
I can't see you.
You don't. I don't know if you have your virtual camera set. We don't see you.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't seen me the whole time.
No, man.
Well, what do you know?
It's better that way though, so then we can believe you that you've been regrowing hair because I don't.
Do we have another caller on the line?
We do not. Someone call in.
We want to hear your stories or thoughts on the previous calls.
Like Zell's the one running the switchboard, so I'm pretty sure he would know if people were calling.
I was just curious.
If someone calls, usually I see it, but sometimes you miss one, so it's it can be a good question sometimes. Sometimes I forget to have the calls working. Period. So that also.
Zell's just like shitting on himself right now. A little peek behind the curtain, everybody. We're fucking idiots.
That's good. Just giving ammunition for the Facebook wall.
Dude,
This all gets cleaned up in post.
You try and run a toll-free number with a call queue into Skype to 3 other people over Skype and then record them separately all at the same time.
Not a chance.
Bananas.
I'm lucky I can turn my machine on and it works properly.
You could not do podcasts any harder than the way we do podcasts.
Yeah, if you honestly, Zell, we should do a podcast about how to do a podcast the most difficult way possible.
I'll show you exactly how to do it. It's ridiculous, but it's better than not doing any podcast. So
this is true.
We become quite proficient in the virtual podcast. Probably we were doing virtual podcasts before it was cool to do a virtual podcast during COVID.
Yeah.
Boom.
We've been social distancing forever.
Yeah. 5 years straight.
5 years.
Yeah, Andrew brought up the Facebook group. Man, that's just like the ATT roast group. It's just like, if I need a good ugly cry, I just hop on there.
No shit.
Just constant scorched earth, just everything. Hilarious.
No prisoners at all. They do not care.
I love it.
That's awesome.
It's like, hey, let's decide who our favorite theorist is, and the only way to decide who our favorite is by shitting on everyone that's not.
Yeah.
Explain to us every reason why you hate them. Like, fuck, man.
I was into it.
The one guy that made the post, he's like, yeah, like I really like Dan, but I don't like Andrew.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You don't have to add that. You can just say you like Dan. That's fine.
Yeah.
Man. Like,
I'm a big Dan fan.
I'm a Dan man myself,
fuck
but
that Andrew guy.
yeah, like Andrew guy's a piece of shit. I agree with you, but you don't have to say it. That's
Don't
my
gotta
first
say it
thought
out loud.
every time I look in the fucking mirror. But it's fine.
I love it. It's hilarious.
It's pretty
I
good.
also.
Because you're the only guy that
solid.
doesn't get shit on because they're scared to use it. All they know.
Yeah.
Dude, I have them of all the times on the podcast. People have so many ways to make fun of me now.
And nobody does because
Every nickname I hate, everything completely has been exposed to the public for all to hear.
Know what happens. They know what happens when you get made fun of.
What
You
happens?
spread. You turn into a baked potato and go fucking mad.
You go russet red potato.
And you don't want. And listen, if we know anything, you don't want to be caught holding a hot potato.
Fuck no, man.
That game should be outlawed from humanity.
Yeah.
Stupid game. Stupid food.
Oh shit.
All
It's
right.
fun.
Cosmo-
No, it's fun. It's
yeah, it's
good.
good. That's good shit. I'll never.
It's good. Unless you're talking about my height. That's out of bounds.
It's off limits.
Yeah.
Off limits.
I should add it to the rules of the group. No talking about height.
that one stipulation in there. Just
Do no harm, take no shit, don't talk about height. That's the rules of the group.
Why? But why talk about height so much? That's what I want to know. I feel like I'm fucking on Tinder dates all over again. First thing, how tall are you? Fuck. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. I'm not
I'll
that
be
short.
wearing my boots to the day.
Wearing bell bottoms and platform shoes.
One of
Andrew's
those fucking
6'1".
lifts coming from Amazon. I'm fucking waiting for that boys. God damn it. The worst part about it is somebody fucking talks shit about my height, and I like answer. I clap back. I was like, "Well, I'm 5'8", and then like a really good friend of mine who's a big fan of the show comments, and he's like, "There's no fucking way you are." And I was convinced I was fucking 5'8". I was convinced. So I went like I took a picture of my fucking license and I sent it to him. I'm like, boom, 5'8", and he's like, "No, still don't believe it." So I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll measure myself right now. Go get a tape measure out. 5'7" and 3/4.
Oh,
Ah.
got you on the
Devastated.
quarter-inch deviation.
Oh man, I had to go back on the Facebook group and like edit my comments, being like from 5'8" to 5'7" and 3/4.
Buddy,
Retract.
you should have just done half an hour on the inversion table.
No shit. That's probably what it is. It's all the fucking squats. I probably used to be 5'9", I bet.
You're just compressing your spine by doing too many deadlifts and squats.
Yeah, man. That's only makes sense. Gotta be it.
That's it's the only thing.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
Too strong to be tall.
Exactly. That's it. That case closed. That's it.
We got Freddie Silva coming on our other show, talking about Knights Templar tomorrow. I mean,
Excited.
his talk hit like I went and re-listened to the UFO crop circles one, and just blown away again. Like listening to that guy talk is phenomenal.
This is my first time. I've never heard him. I wasn't on that one, and I've never listened to the pod. It's gonna be my first time.
I know I've heard him come on I've heard him on other podcasts. He's pretty good. He's good. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Because so far, like I've pretty much enjoyed all the guests we've had on, other than the fucking flat earthers with neck tattoos that wanted to stab me.
I
Those are the only
enjoyed
guys
that.
scared
Though.
me.
I enjoyed that.
I didn't
Well,
like
you
the
weren't
guy
sitting
with
beside
his
them. So.
messy blinds.
Yeah, what is with you in that? Fucking you and objectifying aliens and fucking blinds that aren't looking good. You got a problem with that shit.
The guy with the messed
Do you
up balls.
remember? Do you remember how he had the blinds? The
No,
whole
I don't. That didn't even occur to me.
None of us were focused on that. At the
Nobody
time. We were
was.
more focused on the kind
Wow.
of what was going on at
Yeah.
the moment.
I did not even fucking. That was not a thought in my brain at all.
Like if Freddie Silva comes on tomorrow and his blinds are out of whack, we're
You're
hanging
gone.
out.
Out. Done.
He's done.
Done.
Case file's over.
Hmm.
Man, I want more people to call. Let's talk about crop circles. What are your guys' thoughts on crop circles? Call us. Let us know. Were they all man-made? Are some places of power? What do you think did them? I mean, I haven't heard of a crop circle in
Long time.
a long time. I think the heyday was in the 90s.
They happen all the time now, but now a lot of people, it's become an art for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Has it? What like brought them out? Was it X-Files or some shit that was like kind of shine a light on them? You know what I mean? So people
Well, they're
kinda
not-
the,
got an idea.
the heyday was like in the 80s and early 90s. So it's like, I don't know if they were X-Files shone a light on them or if they were like already past their heyday when X-Files made them popular.
It's been a while since I really dug into crop circles, but yeah, they started they've been reports for a long time, but in the late 80s and early 90s is when they were like having the really intricate ones that people couldn't explain that seemed to appear overnight.
Yeah.
Fuck, that would be fucking trippy.
All right, we got a call. We're back. We're back in the game, baby. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey guys, how's it going tonight?
Good. How about you?
Yeah, it's going good.
That's good. Not bad. It's Cody from Manitoba again.
Hey,
yeah,
Cody.
it is.
Cody.
So I got like a story, and then I have a theory about the monolith.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, so the story is first. So I think it was like it was like Tuesday, I think. I was at home, and I was doing I was cleaning up my kitchen, and my roommate was helping me, and we have one of those like like those plastic containers of those Tide Pods for like the laundry.
Don't eat it.
We have
Yeah.
like one of those.
Don't eat it.
Sorry?
Don't eat it. Don't eat the pod.
Too late. We had some for breakfast. No,
All right.
I'm just kidding. So anyway, so on like the lid for those, you have to like screw on and they clip on, right? And so he did that. He put the lid on and he put it on on the side of the washer. And I was cleaning up. I was sweeping the floor, and all of a sudden, like the lid popped off and like fell right in front of me, about 3 feet away from the container, off the washer. I don't know how. Like as soon as it happened, I turned to my roommate and I was like, "You closed the thing, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, why?" I was like, "You closed like the laundry detergent, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "That lid just flew off and landed like on the floor in front of me." It was really weird because it was snapped shut, like it clips shut. It was super weird.
So it's the lid snapped off when it shouldn't have, because it's a snap-on lid, like one of those tight-fitting snap-on lids.
Right. Like you have to like screw it halfway and then it like clicks. There's 2 buttons on the side you have to press, and then you can like unscrew it.
Right.
And then when you close it, you screw it halfway and it clips. It clicks in.
So
I don't know how it
Mr.
happened.
Clean's paranormally activating you is what you're saying.
Is or is
Maybe.
is this is this a one-off incident, or have you had, maybe you haven't witnessed it, but you've seen, stuff on the floor that shouldn't be, or stuff moved, or is this like a one-off kind of incident?
Oh, there's like the last little while, there's been like things like falling over. Like, I had a sink full of dishes the other day because we hadn't gotten to the dishes yet, and they hadn't moved all day. And then during the night, like I was gaming out, I was playing some Modern Warfare, and all of a sudden I heard this giant like shift in the dishes in the sink, and I went and looked, and they like all shifted over, but they hadn't moved all day. And then
This is the same house?
my ex-girlfriend. Sorry?
Same house?
Yeah.
Oh, poltergeist.
Yep.
Mm,
Are
like
you?
my
Is the house
ex-
built on an ancient native burial ground? That would make sense.
I mean, not that I know of, but it's possible, I guess.
The other thing is, dude, honestly, get yourself an EMF reader. They're $70. Mr.
it.
Conspiracy's house, who I'm staying at right now, his place is haunted. I'll like every now and then you get some like weird vibes in this place. You'll turn on the EMF reader, walk around the house, and you'll get level 5 hits, just like bam, bam, bam. And you're
Why?
like, what
Why
the
though?
fuck's going on?
There's nothing you can do about it. You don't have a fucking proton pack. Why do you want to know? Why do you want to know?
I think because then I put out the energy back into the world of like, don't fuck with me, ghost, and I won't fuck with you.
I'm sure that's exactly what you do. You were
That's
talking about
exactly what it
screaming early. I think that's exactly what you do every time it hits 5. Yeah, I don't want to know. Fuck, unless it's. How many times are you gonna sell your house in a year? Mine would be up for sale every fucking 6 months.
You would never be able to move into any house. You'd be fucked.
No.
But-
Oh, I'm not living outside either. Where am I gonna live?
But if you're legit getting these things, start getting some more evidence, right? Leave a Ouija out with the planchette, right? Do the things you're not supposed to do. Let's get some
Listen to
evidence.
Braden
Do
at
the
all.
things you're not supposed to do.
Whatever you can do,
Boy,
listen to me. Whatever you can do to make your house more haunted, you should try it.
Yes, and then invite us over,
I mean,
and we'll come investigate it.
Nope.
there was like this video I saw a while ago where you can play like all these games to summon ghosts and stuff, so we could try that. That's for sure. And I actually have a friend, my buddy's wife has a Ouija board that she has hanging up on her wall. She knows how to use it.
Get her over, play the Ouija board, don't close the game, leave the planchette wide open on the board, draw a fucking pentagram out of what attracts demons? Sulfur? What do you draw a pentagram out of to get fucking demons? Whatever you gotta do.
Can't you use like salt? Like, it kind of like, if you use salt, you can summon them, but then like I think salt like kind of keeps them
Oh, that's like
at
a
bay for the most part.
yeah, it's like a protection thing. No salt. You don't want protection. You want yourself to be as possibly haunted as you can get.
I mean, haunted is one thing, but I do not want to become possessed. So
Okay, let's not throw the term possessed. A vessel. You just want to be a vessel.
you're just a meat suit anyway. Let the demons in. I've been
fair enough.
trust me,
Well, and then-
it's harder than you think. I've been trying. They don't just enter for no reason.
Well, my the day that happened with the soap container, my ex called. I told my ex, and then she said that our kids' backpacks, they were up on the shelf the entire weekend. They didn't have school on Monday, and then Tuesday morning, while they were getting ready for school, they were all in the living room, and like their backpacks had not been touched. They hadn't moved all weekend, and all of a sudden, one of the bags had like flew off the shelf and landed on the floor upside down. So my house is haunted and her house is haunted.
Something's following you, man.
I'm following. Okay, that's great. Let's do a quick theory about the monoliths, and now we're gonna see if we can get some more calls.
All right. So this isn't actually my theory. One of my coworkers brought it up to me the other day, and it's actually pretty interesting. Do you guys remember the story, or the story of the cicada 3310 or whatever it was?
Yeah.
That's like an internet thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the puzzles.
Yeah. So my buddy thought maybe it was related to that somehow, and I'm like, well, how would that work? And then he was like, well, what if like the places that it's landing right now are coordinates of some kind, and that's one of the clues in a cicada 3310. Like it hasn't been active for a long time, but maybe he's, back at it again, and he's coming up with coordinates now, and we have to use that to solve some kind of puzzle.
So he's part of an elaborate team of placing monoliths. They're not even technically monoliths because they're not made of stone, but people are calling them monoliths. But they're placing these metal pillars around the globe. As some form of some like mystery to solve.
It's possible because I mean like that's what the cicada thing was, right? It was like a bunch of clues that he left, but then he kind of stopped giving out clues.
Right.
Yeah, it's, Cicada 3301 left a series of clues in major cities around the world and referenced books harkening back to an ancient occult mystery.
Hey, it could be. I mean, you gotta ask your person at work. You guys gotta formulate more of a theory. But hey, maybe because it's either one was an art installation and people are now there's just copycats, or if you want to stretch into like some type of conspiracy, it's like a global spanning network of people doing this for a goal of whatever the goal may be. Maybe. So.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, me personally, I think it's just some kind of like you said, art form or something, like some kind of hoax type of thing. I don't think it's anything paranormal or outworldly or anything like that. I think it's just maybe somebody's bored or has some kind of project they want to do, and that's about it.
Like the first one took effort to like get out there, and they actually like cut the ground and they placed in there was like an actual like someone did. It took them a while. They didn't just like the other ones seem very rushed and like just stuck like on the top of the ground. People can just push them over really easy, and so it seems like the first one maybe was some type of art thing, and people are now just, to me personally, it seems like now people are just copycatting. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
But
well,
I'm hoping more for a global conspiracy in my books. I'm hoping for it. But
yeah.
Okay, Cody, we're gonna move on. But if more comes to that theory, write it down.
I'll let you guys know.
Formulate a plot. All right, man. Thanks, buddy. Bye. Yeah, that's more my theory on those steel monoliths. First one was like more artistic, and people now are copycatting. Oh, another caller right away. Boom, let's get it. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hello.
Hello.
You're
live.
Hear me?
Yep, you're good. We can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So I don't really have a crop circle story, but I'm calling because I was listening to your guys's that new Cosmic channel you guys have on the Apple podcast.
Yep.
And
you're
I
live
think
right
it
now
was
on it.
episode 5 or 4.
5 or 4.
And I think it was Brayden that was telling the story of someone or something standing on a power line and it just flew away.
Oh yeah, that was me when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure I saw the Mothman. Well, that's what I like to think.
Okay, so that's kind of what my story's like.
Awesome.
So me and my friend, we live in a really small town. Like our town has like less than 1,000 people.
Can you tell us what the town is?
It's Schuyler, Nebraska.
Schuyler, Nebraska. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little
small town.
It's like a tiny town. So we can, if we want to go shopping or anything, we have to drive like 3 hours away. But we used to, after school, we used to like go out in the middle of the street and just hang out on the street and listen to music. But one time we were standing outside my house in the street and we looked up, and on the power lines there was just something like black. Like it was just, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just this. It was like a person, but it was standing on I'm not sure if it's a phone line or a power line.
Right.
And when my friend was like, "What is that?" we looked up, and when we looked up at it, like it was so big that when it flew away, we could actually hear like, you know, when like the wings flapping, like, or whatever it was. So it kind of sounded like the story that Brayden was saying. And
how long ago was
this house where we used to live at? This was like, I was probably a freshman in high school, and I'm like 27 years old now. So I don't know. That was probably like 10, 15 years
12,
ago.
12, 13 years ago, yeah.
I mean, there is, just doing a quick look up, there is quite a few accounts of some sort of winged cryptid in North Dakota, Nebraska, and Wyoming. About the size of a man, they say, with a 6 to 8 foot wingspan, skinny, long beak-like nose. And there's a shot of it on a power line with like these, it looks like hellish looking wings.
Does it have a name? Does it have a cryptid name?
It doesn't even have a name. They don't even name it. I just quickly looked it up.
Quick search yields.
The only
I
thing that comes to mind when you describe like a human-like creature with wings, did they seem to sprout from the back? Could you tell at all, or were they like attached to the arms?
No, it was nighttime, so it was like we
Hard
just
to
saw
judge.
something like dark and big.
Sure.
Yeah, but I just knew that it was so big that we could hear when it flew away. And at first I thought maybe it was a bat or something, but I feel like I wouldn't have heard it fly away if
Yeah,
it was
you
something
wouldn't
like a
hear
bird
that
or a bat.
whoosh like of something.
The
That's a
only
big-
thing that really comes to mind, cryptid-wise or perhaps folklore-wise, is like a Japanese tengu, which is a type of like air demon. It's like a bird person with it's pretty much exactly what Braid described, having a beak, having a human sized with wings or stuff like that. That's the only thing I can think of the top of my head. But what a Japanese tengu is doing over on this side of the Pacific, I'm not really sure.
Well, some people described Mothman as more owl-like than a moth, so maybe.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was too, an owl maybe or a bird. But this house we used to live at, it was so like my parents didn't own the house at the time; they just rented in there. And before, like, we used to take these little vacations to. Well, do you guys have Walmart in Canada?
Oh yeah.
Walmart's
Oh, yeah.
everywhere. It's taken over the planet.
Okay, so you guys know what Great Value is, right?
Oh yeah.
their house
I know
brand.
a great value when I see
Okay. So when we used to go to Worlds of Fun, and Worlds of Fun is like the Great Value version of Disney.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Some people say
So
we're
we
the great
used to
value
go
version
every-
of last podcast on the left.
Yeah, well, we used to go on vacation every summer there, and one time we were at the same house. We were getting ready to go to the vacation, but my dad had told me, like, let's go out to pack everything, and everybody was in the car except my older sister. So when my older sister said, I have to go inside and grab whatever, my dad was like, go inside and call her. So I went up to her room, and she was moving out to go to college, and her room was pretty much empty. She was just, what she had in her room was what she was taking on vacation with us. But when I went up inside, she wasn't in her room, and her room was empty. But I remember seeing this an older man just on a chair rocking inside, and this is outside the same house that I saw that thing standing on the power line. So I don't know if it's the same thing, but that house burnt down a couple years after that.
Convenient.
Hmm. Well, they do say Mothman is a
Yeah,
herald
it
of
was-
disaster sometimes. And
Yep.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's not.
Harbinger of sorrow.
Besides the house burning down, anything else like tragic happened in or around the town?
I'm not sure. We have this like story in our town where we have a campground, and usually the only people that camp there are like people that live around our area and counties nearby. And there's this tree that people said that was used to hang people, but I'm not sure if that's true or not.
Oh, like an old gallows
But
tree.
other
Yeah.
than that, I don't. Yeah, other than that, I'm not really sure. Both of my parents are Mexican, so around our house, my mom would say, we need to cut an onion open. That's going to keep the spirits away, dip it in water. And
Smart,
Yeah.
smart lady.
Did she used to put an egg under your bed when you got sick? That's the real Mexican way of thinking.
No, actually, she would.
What?
When I was sick, she would tell me that we had to take drops of olive oil, and that usually works though. So
Some of those old wives' tales do hold true sometimes. So you never seen
yeah,
this?
but
you
yeah,
never
that's
seen-
what. When I heard Braden's story on the older Cosmic episode, I was like, "That's it." The way he described it, it was exactly what me and my friend had.
Right, and you never
I've
seen this
seen.
cryptid or this cryptid thing again? Just that one time on the power line, and you heard it flap away.
Yeah, just that was the only time I have ever seen like
Something.
stuff like that was at that old house, and after it burned down, I don't think I've ever seen anything else after that.
Well, as long
My
as-
friends and I mean, we tried playing the Ouija board there one time, but
awesome.
we're not sure if all of our other, because we were in high school, so all of our other friends
Wait.
were like, yeah, let's play it, but we're
It's
not
a
sure if they
mistake.
actually
Did you
moved it
play-
or
It's
a
not.
mistake.
Did you play the Ouija board before or after you seen the cryptid?
It was after that.
Oh,
Was it before or
It
after
was
the house
after
burned
that, but before the old man.
down?
oh, so you summoned the old man, which was a demon, by playing the
Demon.
Ouija board. The old man.
summoned me
Yeah, so, like I said, my parents are both Mexican, so after they found out we did that, they freaked out. They were like, "You need to go to church. We're gonna tell the priest you did all of this." So I was standing in front of a priest, like, "Yeah, I did that, but we were just playing."
Well, hey, thank you very much for calling in and telling the story. If anyone else has seen this type of weird cryptid thing in that area or surrounding area, call in next week. Let us know. Okay, we're gonna probably take.
Yeah. Also, I was gonna say I was the person that sent a message to you guys on Twitter about naming my child Aurora because Braden kept talking about auroras.
Nice.
Yeah. So now when we yell at her, we just go Aurora, like you used to.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. All
All
right.
right. Well, thank you guys.
Yep. Thank you very much for the story. Appreciate it. Have a good
Bye.
night. Bye. We got like a beaked man-sized cryptid with wings.
Well, what if she just lived next to Bird Person? Maybe that's where Bird Person and,
Sure.
and Tammy Gutterman decided to fucking live.
So they
Could
settled
have been
down.
Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
There
Hey,
you go. You never
dude.
know.
And
All I'm saying is, if there's something this big, because like, I remember seeing it, and mind you, like I take it with a grain of salt because I was so young. But if you saw something like this, and let's say it doesn't just stay in one area, it flies all over the place, right? Like maybe it's not just northwest. Maybe like its migrating pattern is like, all over the entire North America, South America, right? Who's to say, these people were not all seeing the same kind of thing as a one-off, and you're just like, yeah, it was weird. I saw it at night. Like maybe this thing's hunkered down during the day, and in the evening, that's when it does most of its flying.
Like an owl? Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But like a giant, like a man-sized owl man.
I don't.
Dude,
I mean,
there-
I remember like every time I see an owl, I'm always like, "Holy fuck, that's huge!"
dude, there is a giant. I don't know if without searching, I don't know if it's in this area, but the great horned owl is a gigantic bird,
huge.
dude. It stands like 3 feet tall with like an 8-foot wingspan. It's fucking insane.
But they don't have antennas.
Well,
No.
they might have like kind of whiskery things, maybe if you get them confused, perhaps.
But yeah, no. Every time I see a fucking owl, I'm always like, "Fucking like it's staggering." You're like, "Holy fuck!"
We're gonna
It's
take
huge.
take another call here.
Yeah.
Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Yo, it's Lizard Caveman.
Sup, Lizard
Yo.
Caveman.
Yo, what up?
Hey guys. Oh, we're talking about birds. Today, I found out about the secretary bird. That's fucking crazy. It's like a hawk on stilts.
Right. It has the little things. It's famous for like stomping snakes to death. That's his job.
That's
Right?
pretty badass.
Oh yeah, it's like my fucking mortal enemy.
Yeah, those are they're powerful birds. They're pretty rad looking too. It's like big old long stilts. They got the big old like black feathers sticking out the back of their heads. Yeah, they're pretty metal.
It's a fucking cool looking bird.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of reminds
Oh
me
fuck
of
yeah, man. They got the
when-
ganglies.
It reminds me of when the old Disney movie when Robin Hood goes to the archery contest dressed up like that fucking bird
Yeah.
on stilts.
The stork.
Just like that,
Oh, he's
yeah.
a stork.
He's a stork, yeah.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Anyways, what do you got for us tonight?
Reptilian theories, man. Let's hear it, guys. About the Trodons.
Oh,
You know
dude,
anything about them?
that's gonna be its own call-in show. That gets deep. You can go pretty far. But give us your quick thoughts, 5 minutes or less.
Well, I think that, it's definitely plausible for the Trodon dinosaur to have lived through the giant cataclysm. They had a lot of characteristics that probably led to them, hopefully, to survive and rule over our society nowadays. They lived in all over North America, mostly I've seen like in Alaska. And so on the West Coast, they definitely could have migrated down to LA, where they're supposed to be in an underground city in the Hollow Earth kind of tie-in deal.
So you're saying a dinosaur pre 65 million year impact that was maybe very advanced at the time or very intelligent at the time survived, and for 65 million years has been evolving.
Evolving. Yeah, it's subterranean layer, basically.
Shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, they had really big brains comparable to their body size. They were one of the most smart, or the smartest dinosaurs. Well, they only had the smarts of like a chicken. I guess paleontologists have, studied their brain or their head size or whatever, their skull. But if you have the smarts of a chicken 65 million years ago, and if you're still living now, your bloodline, and
Hey, if we can
Who
go
knows?
in just 2 million years to being just like ape, if you go with that theory from ape to who we are now, what another 63 million years going to do to humanity if we survive that long? So if you're
That's right.
if you're going to say like
Absolutely.
an animal was that smart back then, and say it doubles every, even if you give it like generously every like 5 or 10 million years, you're getting up there by now.
Yeah.
Now, Lizard Caveman, is there reptiles that we know of nowadays that like change their shape to mimic other animals? Like I know cuttlefish and stuff like that, but I'm talking like purely like reptiles.
I don't know about like mimicking other animals, but definitely mimicking their surroundings. Like I'm sure everyone knows about chameleons. They actually don't blend in with their. Of course they look like their surroundings. Sometimes different species, but like they actually change their colors based on emotion and like stress and temperature. So it's not like totally like trying to mimic their environment.
They're not actively camouflaging.
Now, do you think if it's
Right.
if it's one of those things where you hear lots of times that like certain politicians and stuff are reptilians, and we've all heard that theory before. How are they wearing suits, or do they have some sort of ability, say maybe like a cuttlefish, to like change how they look to adapt? What are
I
your
have
thoughts
thought
on
about that a lot, and when you think about, is a reptilian going to be a politician on TV where everyone can see? If I was a reptilian, and like even if I could like mimic my surroundings, like I don't think I'd be going on TV. But I've thought about that too, like the alien realm, and whereas like instead of like using like chromatophores like how cuttlefish use, and they like just flex their pigment cells.
Right.
I think like maybe it's more of like a light bending, like a mirror kind of, like smoke and mirror kind of trick, like not like literal, but like maybe they've got some kind of like reflection wavelength. Like I just recently found out that a lot of birds have reaction to UV light. Like if you shine one on them, you see light blue, light red. Like I don't know what that's all about.
So you're saying the theory more, rather than them actually change their physical shape, they can alter like the light frequencies they emit to like make them look different? Is that what you're saying? Like different, like
yeah.
not necessarily.
Is that why a lot of people say they see them kind of change in different camera lens under certain light? That could possibly why it's like you're seeing beyond the smoke and mirrors per se.
Well, didn't they just
That's
figure that out
probably why you
with
see
Tasmanian
little
devils? That the bioluminescence.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they just discovered that shit, which is fucking cool, man.
What do you mean?
If you would have said
Has-
that to me a month ago,
Oh, I
I'd
didn't
be
know
like,
about
that's
that.
bullshit. That's crazy.
I mean, I don't really know a lot about Tasmanian devil, so
It was first. They caught it first ever on like photo evidence of them producing bioluminescence.
So at
like
night,
it's at the
nighttime,
Toledo
it's-
Zoo or something. I can't remember somewhere.
so like at nighttime, and they're like glowing, or like what do you mean?
Yeah, they're actually glowing, like giving off like a bluish light, like
Because-
from their body, like in their skin, eyes, fur. Strange.
I always seen that.
super strange.
You can see that in a lot of oceans at nighttime when you like swirl your hand in the water will like glow blue or green.
Right.
So same type of thing,
So
but it's
bioluminescent algae.
coming off of actually off of Tasmanian devil. That's insane.
Is it actual or is it biofluorescence or bioluminescence?
Maybe. Well, let's see. Bioluminescence.
Because they
I'd
could
have
be
to look it up.
absorbing the light and they could be absorbing the light and giving it off after they've absorbed it. Because like hawksbill sea turtles, they do that, and they do that underwater, so like they blend in with
Luminescence.
night hunters.
Biofluorescence.
It's fluorescent or fluorescent, yeah.
Fluorescent.
Well, let's not forget, like, I remember there was hashtag look it up. You can go, there's an old radio show interview. And I don't even remember how these two got on together, but Louis C.K. was on a radio interview with Donald Rumsfeld. And they were asking Donald Rumsfeld
What?
serious questions.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Listen,
Louis
listen.
C.K. and Donald Rumsfeld?
Here's what I'm saying.
Holy fuck.
Well, if you wait for a fucking
Are
second,
they
I'll
talking
get to the
about
point of my
fucking...
story.
I'm waiting.
Go
I'm
ahead.
ready.
So in that, Louis C.K. just is annoyed with the conversation. Just asks him. He goes, "Hey, like, just tell everyone you're not a reptilian. You're not a lizard person." And for like a 15-minute interview, Donald Rumsfeld will not answer the question if he is a lizard or not. And Louis C.K. is like, "This is unbelievable. Just answer the goddamn question now. Like, no one cares about anything else you have to say. Just, are you a lizard or not?" And then the entire, for like, it felt like a long time. Donald Rumsfeld is like, will not say he's not a lizard.
And then the lizard people crash his career by telling everybody that he masturbates in front of people.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what
I
happened,
like
man. Makes sense.
Fucking ruin his image,
That is
make him look a loony.
Anyways, Lizard Caveman, I love that theory about a possible surviving member of dinosaur that became more advanced than we thought. Maybe not necessarily that they're maybe infiltrated our governments and stuff, but maybe they escaped. They live dormant or they live underground or whatever. It's a
by
cool theory.
Project Blue Books, like they're one of the ones listed, whether they're from here or from somewhere else.
Right. I like it.
Yeah.
I like the theory. All right,
Cool.
buddy. Thanks, man. We're gonna take one more call tonight, and we're gonna wrap this
No
one
problem.
up. We'll talk to you soon.
Cool. See you guys.
Take care, buddy.
Take care.
By far the weirdest thing we've brought up tonight is Donald Rumsfeld and Louis C.K.
It made sense in the end. Braden brought it up. He brought it around in the end.
Back.
I just think those are two names that I did not anticipate hearing at all.
All right.
Even in the same sentence.
We're gonna bring in one more call here.
Hello.
Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
Hey, yeah, it's Peach calling from Portland, Oregon.
Oh, hey, Peach. How's it going?
Oh, just dandy, just dandy. So I wanted to call and talk to you guys about crop circles a little bit, because it's one of my passions.
Yeah.
And you guys were kind of talk about fairies and stuff. And one thing that I always like to talk to people about is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with what cymatics is. Cymatics, it's like
The
when
sound?
if you've ever seen videos where, like the ideas of sound. Well, it's when so have you ever seen someone like place sand on like a steel dish and then
Sure.
vibrate a bowstring across it?
Well, yeah. You
Yeah.
you run a
people use-
frequency through like a solid object with with like something like granular on top, and it will take a form.
Yeah. And so it's based on this Hungarian physicist. He's the one who kind of started this idea of kind of showing sound through like a physical medium. So there was actually a radio telescope that did a recording of the Crab Nebula, and they ran the frequency of that sound over sand, and it kind of recreated this shape that was extremely similar to what we view the nebula as looking like. So if you take that kind of idea of sound creating physical shapes and apply it to, you know, the geometry of crop circles, then the potential of them being kind of sound blasted towards us that kind of falls through our dimensional plane, I think is really interesting.
Yeah, because some of the crop circles, I can't remember where I seen it, but someone like took some of the crop circles and like, all right, this is an A440 played on with sand over a plate, like cymatics, and it was the same like geometric shape as like the crop circle, and they're like, oh, that's like a 440 and this is a 660, and they went through all the hertz and they identified like a bunch of different crop circles of what they look like the crops themselves, same as the sand did on the plate, which I thought, this was quite a while ago now, but back like when we talked to Freddie Silva the first time, but I thought that's like really cool that like, if because crop circles, they always like the node is not broken or bent, it's like fused sideways, and like the ones they claim are like authentic, like non-man-made crop circle. So yeah, that theory I've heard before. That's cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and like the reason like I'm so obsessed with Freddie Silva is because I am from Indiana originally, so I grew up around crop fields and cornfields my whole life, and so I always wanted to see, you know, a crop circle. But I read his book, Secrets in the Fields, and he has like a whole section on acoustical alchemy and this idea of like sound creating these shapes. And he also talks about the idea of imagining if, you know, as this 3D life that we live, if something in the 4D plane breaks through our 3D plane, it would be like a stick figure on a piece of paper with a sphere transecting it. They wouldn't see it as a sphere, they would see it as a circle. So if something 4D was transecting our plane, we would see it as, you know, something flat, like a crop circle. So perhaps it's a 4D sound or a 4D shape that's transecting our space.
So either coming from outside or inside Earth, up or down or something, and then it leaves that shape, which we can see only as a 2D, like a crop circle, but if you could see like the extra dimension or whatever, you would see that shape like extend out. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that is a really cool theory, because a lot of those original crop circles that were obviously not done by Doug and Dave or whatever. Who were the two guys who were busting boards and claimed that they did all the crop circles?
Yeah, those.
But the ones that like Freddie Silva and stuff, they really like researched the ones with like the stalks weren't broken or bent. They looked actually fused. You're like, that just, it doesn't seem natural.
On a molecular level. Yeah, and then on a molecular level, they were also changed.
Yeah, it wasn't
just
like
something to think
Doug
about.
and Dave aren't going to the fucking crop circles and refusing molecular structures of crops.
Doug and Dave did not know cymatics. They did not know what shape sound makes in physical plane.
No. And it's like even when there have been like groups that have sunk thousands of dollars into trying to recreate these with, you know, huge stadium lighting, you know, at night using this, you know, the best engineering, and they can't even come within, you know, a certain degrees of the perfection of the geometric shapes.
Yeah, I would. I've heard
Truth
that.
is out there, man.
I've heard that theory
Truth is
before.
out
It's very fun to think about, because you can see it. You could do this experiment yourself, and you could recreate some of the shapes of some of these crop circles if you had, like, you could send sound through a vibrating plate with sand on top. Like they physically take the shape depending on the frequency given, which is bananas.
Yeah, and understanding just like the art aspect, you know, or just like the math and geometry behind it, like, you know, the whole like golden ratio, like all those things, like the basis of like the 5 platonic solids, the proportions within those are represented in every being in the universe. You know how a hurricane spirals, how things grow, like sunflower seeds, that whole thing. So it would make sense that these representations of outside our galaxy, or, you know, wherever they're coming from, that they would be within those proportions. So it all has like, you know, a very resonant feel to it.
Yeah, we live in like a mathematical universe, and these are just like the physical representations of some of, you know, of that math, right? Like the spiral and like Fibonacci sequence, all that stuff. You see this like that pattern repeating all across nature. So that's really cool.
I mean,
really
it's
cool
why
topic.
when you like It's like when you eat LSD or like, mushrooms, and you start to see those like patterns and shapes. Like it's all that like continuation of like, the language of the world, the language of the galaxy.
That's 100%. If you've never experienced that, I know exactly what you were talking
you
about.
definitely tap into something.
Anyways, Peach, that's
not on this plane.
That's a really cool theory, and that is something that we will eventually get more into, is like sacred geometry and like how it relates to like the natural world and stuff, because that is a really fun stuff to like. Just look,
I would love that.
You just look at like exactly. You said like how like sunflowers form and like how like shells are shaped and like how it all kind of relates to each other. It's really cool. Okay. Well,
awesome. Well, thanks guys so much. I appreciate taking my call.
Yep, 100%. Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, that's a good one. Sends you down some fun rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Okay, Jennifer, I know you wanted to tell your story, and I said last call. So if you're still there and you want to tell your story, last call. Let's do it. And if not, save it for next week or another time, and we'll get to you then. Hey, those are some good call-ins today. There's some Bigfoot, some UFOs, some
mind-blowing mathematics.
We had some
that last
grab
one.
bag.
Andrew, you follow that at all?
That last one was so far above my pay grade, it's not even funny.
Oh, the crop circles and sacred geometry? You should look up. Yeah. Just look up, if you do nothing to do with crop circles or anything. Just look up cymatics and like the people in like universities and stuff doing it in the classroom, and like it's crazy the shapes that sound makes on the plate with the sand. It's bananas. All right, one more
If
call.
we're gonna be doing a case file on it, I'm gonna have to start studying now to be ready for it.
Okay, we'll give you a month.
Like 6 months away.
Month
so.
lead time. All right, last caller. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey guys.
Hello, is this Jennifer?
How's it going?
Yeah, it's Jennifer Swope.
Jennifer Swope, thank you very much.
What's up?
Woo.
Save the best for last.
What's up, guys? Calling from the land of Lincoln.
Land of
Hey, shouldn't you be watching Monday Night Football right now? Aren't your Chiefs playing?
Sunday. My
husband's out in the garage. It's Sunday. Oh. Yes, they are. And I made a promise to my son that I would do this instead because he really wants the story because he's really kind of upset and wants to know what you guys think.
Sure.
That's fair.
It is a sleep paralysis story. He's had sleep paralysis before. Now, he's older. He's 24. He was at his home, and he woke up. He said he knew he was still in REM sleep. He could sense that. He knew he was going through a bout of sleep paralysis. He felt the dog. He has a big black German Shepherd dog. The dog he thought was on top of him. So he was able to move his right arm and put his hand up to, pet the dog or whatever. And he said he felt the dog, growled at him, bit his hand, then licked it. But he said the growl wasn't a normal growl. It was kind of like, I'm going to rip your hand off. But it wasn't a bad bite, he said. So he couldn't move his head. He couldn't look to the right, but he could look to the left. And what he saw, he said it was kind of like the shape of his head. He could see the yellow, like the nose was yellow. He said to him it looked like the dog's face had inverted, almost like a skeleton or something. And he couldn't move. He tried to, he was trying to move, and he said, "Get off." And Alf, which is the name of his dog, Alf, nothing moved. So it growled at him again, very nasty, and he screamed, "Get off." And he said as soon as he screamed, he could move. And he was like, "What the hell?" And so he was able to wake himself up, and he looked up, and the dog was in another room, had not moved at all, had not moved from his spot in the other room. Oh. There was no dog on top of him.
I know I've had, it's not a.
Have you had that happen?
I've had sleep paralysis before. And I've had instances where it's like there's still a part of me that I know I'm not fully awake. I know I can't move, but I'm not fully awake at that point. I'm still kind of experiencing that dreamlike state at that point. And I know there have been times I can't fully remember what was going on, but I know that I'm struggling to wake myself up. And when I do manage to begin moving, like it's with a really strong movement. Like I usually kick my legs. It's usually, I know I kick one of my legs like way up in the air and I make some noise or something. I've had that happen to me before. Like I've waked up kicking and pretty much literally kicking and screaming when it's just like you're
and
just
I mean,
trying
he
so
said,
hard.
yeah, and he said, I felt the weight of the dog. I said, did you smell anything? And he said, it didn't. He goes, because, dog's breath. He goes, of course I can smell that. He goes, but no, I didn't smell anything, nothing. He said it was the scariest thing that ever happened to him. He's had sleep paralysis before, never like that. Other people heard him scream, said, no, dog's been in here the whole time. So I'm going to tell you, just to be honest, he has Asperger's, with, the highest functioning form of autism.
Yep.
He's not prone to flights of fancy, doesn't buy into most of this crap. He's freaked out.
If it were a recurring thing, I might be worried. But if it's something that doesn't happen before, it's only happened once, I know it's happened to me. And it's happened to me at least 1 or 2 times, but they're never, not all of my sleep paralysis experiences have ever been the same. They've all been wildly different kind of in some situations. And but I know I've waken up it sounds like I've waken up just like he has before, where it's like you were physically like throwing off the blankets and just like you spring out of bed or something, just suddenly it's just all of a sudden you can move. But before that, prior to that, like I know I was still kind of asleep, still kind of dreaming, because once you shift over into the waking state, that you're definitely like you're not seeing those things anymore. It's like, you're fine. It's just, but it is terrifying.
And I've read stress can do that.
Yeah. Now, I got a question about...
I've heard stress can do that.
I want to ask about, because he says he got bit by the dog, which ended up not being actually the dog. It was a shadow dog in his sleep or whatever. But there no mark on his hand or like nothing physical?
No mark. I asked him. I said, no marks, no scratch. No, did you feel... And he said no. And he said it wasn't really... The growl was meaner than the bite was. It was kind of like your typical when you give your dog your hand and you feel the graze of the teeth, the bite, and then the lick. But it was the growl that scared him, because the dog doesn't growl at him like that ever. But the dog wasn't even in there. So I told him, I said, could it be stress? Because I've read about these things. And so I told him I would call, because I know Dan's had a lot of sleep paralysis incidents, and he's really freaked out about this. He's like, do I have a demon in the house? And I said, I don't think so.
No, if it's not...
I lived there.
If it's not reoccurring, if it's just like just a one-time thing, it might just be, like Dan said, it's like something that comes and has gone. But I mean, I've never had it, but I'd imagine it'd be quite terrifying especially if like something like that, where you thought you got bit and like you thought it was your dog, and you wake up and you scream and like it's the dog's in the other room. I could see it being like pretty terrifying.
Yeah, I've never.
Well,
I've
yeah,
never
and I
had
asked him.
sleep
I said, "Were you?"
paralysis, so it's hard for me to comment on, but like every story I've heard about it, I'm like, yeah, that's good. I don't want it.
Yeah,
No,
I'm good.
God, no.
Yes.
And you know what? I even asked him, I said, did you watch a horror movie or anything? And he said no. He hadn't watched anything that would upset him, nothing, just typical night.
It doesn't have to be anything like that. Like, I know I've had sleep paralysis when it's like, I didn't watch a horror movie. I didn't do anything. It can be just, it just happens. Like, it's happened to me a few times, and I don't know why, but I've definitely had the ones where it's like, it goes from, I gradually am able to move my body, where it's like wiggle your big toe, now kind of like shift your weight, kind of roll over. And then I've had the other ones where it's like a violent waking experience where I like, throw one of my arms up and I'm like, make the sound when you're like waking up out of a bad dream or something. I've had those. But again, yeah, if it's not in a recurring thing, I wouldn't be too worried about it. It's just a bad dream. And sometimes and it happens. That it can, a lot of, from what I've researched about it, it's like, yeah, stress can do it. If you're stressed out about something, but sometimes for me, it's like, I know some of the times I went to bed perfectly fine, and it's just,
just happens.
It just happens.
Awesome.
Well, good. Thanks, you guys, because I told you he's listening right now, and I promised him I'd call because it's been really bothering him. So.
No, glad. Yeah, that's definitely a scary, like terrifying experience, and yeah. So
Let us know if it's reoccurring. Like if
Yeah,
something else
definitely.
happens now, then give us a call. Let us know if it's a reoccurring issue.
for sure.
Absolutely, I will.
All
And
right.
I mean, it's not like an old house or anything like that, so I know no,
It's not haunted.
not paranormally
Yeah.
activated.
Not
Just have them
No.
relax, drink some chamomile before bed, and just chill out and just be all right.
Mhm. Oh, thanks, guys. And Andrew, I'm not worried. I know Mahomes is winning.
Yeah.
There we go.
I won't make any spoilers.
All right, thanks, Jennifer. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good
Talk
night.
to you later. Bye.
Bye. All right, that was a fun Cosmic Channels. We had
That was a good one.
topics all over the map. That was awesome. If you are just listening to this now as a podcast and you want to call into future episodes, we're recording these Sundays at 6:30. You can watch live on Twitch and YouTube. And I think, Andrew, we got socials going for this now, don't we? Facebook, Instagram?
We do.
Facebook and Instagram. Is that it? Do we have Twitter? I don't think we have Twitter yet.
We don't have Twitter, no.
Not yet. But Facebook, Instagram, search Cosmic Channels, tune in live, and
Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time.
Pacific time.
That's
That is
correct.
right.
Because there are people in other time zones.
Yes. It's not just West Coast only. All right. Is that it for this week?
That's it.
I believe so. All right. Thanks, everybody. Cosmic Channels are closed.